There's a little silver can inside your air conditioner about the size of a soup can. It's called a capacitor. Cost about $130 to put a new one in. And I have watched that $130 part talk grown, sensible people into pouring thousands more into a system they should have let go of years ago, not because the part was expensive, because they already paid for it. And once you've paid for something, your brain does not want to hear that the money's gone. This has figured something out. I'm Dave. I fix air conditioners over in Kingfisher, and today I'm working through the one thinking trap I see cost folks the most money. The researchers call it the sunk cost fallacy. I call it throwing good money after bad. And here's the part that gets me. It doesn't care how smart you are. I've watched sharp people who could run circles around me on paper, fall right into it, because this one runs on something older than smarts. I've had this same conversation more times than I can count. The system is 22 years old. Compressor's done. The repair runs $1,100, and even if it holds, the thing is inefficient. It's on its last legs, and that 1100 doesn't fix any of the other stuff that's wearing out right behind it. Putting in a new system is the call that actually makes sense. And the customer looks at me and says, well, I just put a new capacitor in it 2 years ago. That capacitor cost $130. It has absolutely nothing to do with the decision sitting in front of them right now, but it matters to them. You can watch it pull on the whole conversation. They can feel it tugging. That right there is the sunk cost trap. A sunk cost is money you already spent that you can't get back. The smart move, and the economists and the psychologists both agree on this, is to ignore it completely when you're deciding what to do next. What you spent yesterday can't be changed. All that matters is what the best move is from right here, right now, going forward. Trouble is, that's not how a human head works. There's research going back to the 1980s. A couple of psychologists named Arkes and Blumer that showed people keep dragging past spending into current decisions even when they know good and well they shouldn't. In one study, folks who'd paid more for a ski trip they weren't even going to enjoy were the ones who pushed through and went anyway and made themselves miserable just because they'd spent more. The ones who'd paid a little cut their losses and stayed home. What's underneath it is something they call loss aversion. We feel a loss about twice as hard as we feel a win of the same size. So writing off money you already spent, calling it a loss out loud, that genuinely hurts way more than the dollar amount says it should. And putting more money in becomes a way to dodge ever having to admit the first money's gone. There's a second piece too. They call it commitment escalation. The more you've sunk into a thing, the harder it gets to walk away, because walking away feels like admitting the whole thing was a mistake, even when it wasn't. That capacitor 2 years back was probably the right call 2 years back. That doesn't make replacing the system today the wrong call. Both of those can be true at the same time. Here's how it actually plays out in a house. Somebody puts a repair into a system. Next time it acts up, they think about that repair they just paid for. Now there's a feeling of being invested, of just having committed. They want to get their money's worth out of that repair, so they keep the old unit limping along a little longer. So they put in another repair, and now they've got even more in it, and that pattern can run for years. Meanwhile, the old unit's burning extra money on the power bill every single month it runs. It's getting less reliable. The odds of the next breakdown keep climbing. But the decision only gets harder because that pile of money already spent keeps getting taller. I had a customer one time who'd put about $4,000 into repairs on one system over 4 years. When I told them the compressor was gone and it was time, they felt like they'd wasted $4,000. They hadn't. Those repairs bought them 4 more years of cooling. But in their gut, it felt like they'd been robbed. The right call 4 years ago doesn't turn into the wrong call just because the system finally died. Every system dies eventually. That's not a betrayal. That's just a machine. The research points to a couple of ways to break the grip. The one that works best is changing the question you're asking yourself. Instead of, what do I do about this system after everything I've already put into it, you ask, if I were walking up to this fresh today, knowing only what it cost me to run and what it cost to replace, which one would I pick? That yanks the frame off the past and puts it on the future, where the decision actually lives. The second one is making the math real, not rough, not it'll save you money, but a number. If your old unit runs at 10 SEER and a new one runs at 18, I can sit down and figure the savings on your bill every month. That real number can go toe to toe with the emotional pull of the money you already spent. Vague talk about efficiency never wins that fight. A number can. I try to do both of those when I'm standing in somebody's kitchen working through this with them, because I genuinely want them landing on the right choice, not just the one that stings the least standing there in the moment. Those two aren't always the same thing. So here's what I figured out. The sunk cost trap isn't a sign you think poorly. It's a sign of a brain doing exactly what it's built to do, trying to protect you from feeling a loss. The catch is that protecting you from the feeling of the loss sometimes costs you a whole lot more than the loss itself ever would have. The question is never what you already put into something. The question is always, what's the best decision from this minute forward? Once you can hold that steady and quit letting the old money vote, the answer usually gets a lot clearer. This has Figured Something Out. I'm Dave Hartzell. Thanks for riding along with me. Call 405-375-4822 or book at hartzellsheethair.com.